So, you want to get good at Fortnite. Alright, buddy, listen up because I'm going to tell you how to do it. If you want to get better at playing Fortnite, then start playing solo duos and solo squads. But today's video is going to be focused on somebody who's looking to start playing solo duos. So first off, I want to make a side note and tell you it's very important to know how to do basic 90s and simple edits. Editing isn't going to be extremely important, it's just very useful, but working on your building is a must, no questions asked. So go into playgrounds, do your 90s, be the playground warrior to a minimal extent. Just know how to do 90s, know how to protect yourself in game, and that's a good place to start. Second, I think the most important thing to look at when trying to improve your gameplay is to not worry about winning. Winning every game needs to be stripped from your intent, because being a better player at Fortnite is so much more and is oftentimes overlooked just to get a win. Nobody cares about the guy who has 3,000 wins and a 1.5 KD, right? Nobody watches Tfue for wins. They watch him to get 20 kill games or 20 plus, 30 kill games, whatever. So stop worrying about winning the game and try to win engagements. Also, don't worry about the creative warriors that you see on Instagram or YouTube that make 30 edits on a guy and a 1x1 just to kill him. Like, that's not what makes a good player. It's a flashy player, but it doesn't make a good player. So try not to look at that and compare yourself to those kind of people that literally do nothing else. So now that's aside, let's actually get to playing a solo duo game. So first off is gonna be, where do you want to drop? For duos, where you drop isn't very important. The drops are typically spread out enough and you're typically not starved for loot. So going to places like Pleasant Park, Retail Row, and Paradise Palms, those are probably key locations that I personally like to use for solo duos. Solo squads are gonna be a little bit different, but for solo duos, go to these places: Pleasant Park, Retail Row, Paradise Palms. They're big enough and spread out enough to give you some experience in fighting in a more open environment, but also have enough cover so you don't need max mats to have one engagement. So when starting out in solo duos, your goal should be to wipe spawn. You want to be the last one standing with as many kills as you can. That should be the goal. And half the time, if I drop into a spawn and there's no players, I might just leave and come back because I want to get more kills. I want to get into more engagements. So when you wipe a spawn, there are three main takeaways, and that is you're getting kills, you're killing people who are communicating with one another, and you're getting kills with limited resources and weapons. If you can consistently do this alone, you can become such a better player. So loadouts is the next thing I want to talk about, and this is pretty subjective for the most part, but in duos, I like to have a sniper rifle for the ability to pick somebody off if I know I have a shot, because then it immediately turns it into a 1v1. So for duos, I like to run a sniper, a shotgun, and probably a sub for the most part of the game. Then towards end game, I like to have an assault and a submachine gun with a shotgun. I like to have that spray power, but it's gonna be kind of subjective. If you suck with sniper rifles, then obviously don't use a sniper rifle. But I'm just gonna let you know how I like to do things for duos in particular. So mess around with that, kind of figure a loadout that you want. But oftentimes having the spray power, if you're not good with a sniper rifle, is going to be what you want to go with. When to fight and when to not fight is what's oftentimes going to separate good players from bad. Knowing when to engage and being aware of your surroundings is very important. Oftentimes, it's best to not be in the center of the circle, and especially when you're a new solo player in a team mode. Stick to rotations on the outer ring of the circle and only pick fights and take shots that will give you an advantage or you can hit. The biggest issue that players will face is starting an engagement and fighting in an open environment, so like outside of spawn. Close the distance as much as you can before starting an engagement. This limits time that you have to push somebody and lessens the chance of getting sprayed or lasered down. If you get lasered in an open field and you're trying to heal, you don't want that to happen to you. Now, the important thing to take away from here, though, is that you actually want to encounter people. Don't see somebody and run the other way because there's 10 people left and you really want to win the game. Don't think that. Remember, we're in this for engagements, not for wins. If you leave the spawn with 7 or 8 kills, don't be afraid to die later. Don't be worried about winning. Experience in fighting and winning engagements is more important, and this is the experience that you need to make you a better player. Don't let dying upset you, and don't let every mistake trigger you. Learn from those mistakes. Some situations you're just never going to get out of, and I mean, even the best players in the world can't get out of every situation. So the best thing to do is when you do make a mistake, look at what you did wrong and try not to make that mistake again. Maybe you start an engagement when you're on the bottom of a hill, and we all know the grid system in the game sucks on hills. So, little things like that, little takeaways, pick everything you can away from a mistake and try to learn from it. So the last thing I want to talk on is keybinds. And luckily for console players, this now applies to you as well. Keep changing your keybinds to just improve your gameplay overall. As a PC player myself, I'm changing my keybinds all the time. I probably change my keybinds once a week. I've been doing this for months now, trying to improve my gameplay. I've been doing this myself, just trying to be a better player. Oftentimes I feel like my keybinds are pretty bound up on the keyboard. They're kind of cramped. I'm button mashing, so I want to kind of free my hands up to just not make those small mistakes. Maybe I'm hitting spacebar, or maybe I'm hitting edit when I'm not supposed to, hitting the wrong thing. Same thing for controllers. If you see that you're slow on doing a particular action, change it up, figure out why it's slow. Like, when you're trying to edit, do you have to take too much time to move your finger off the joystick to hit B or X, whatever you're trying to press? Just look at what you could be doing better, and actually look at how you're playing and why you're making mistakes. That's a whole other thing in of itself, is just trying to look at what you're doing wrong and what you could be doing better. Don't blame the game, blame yourself, and just kind of take action for becoming a better player. All right, so that's gonna be the end of this video. I do plan on making many more videos on solo, duos, and squads in the near future. Kind of go more in depth on certain situations, different engagements, and how to look at certain situations, basically. So I'm gonna try to get those rolling out here soon. Be sure to stay tuned. I am live on Twitch throughout the week. I'm a college student, so it's not extremely consistent, but I will leave links in the description. And as for now, appreciate you guys watching this video, and hopefully catch you in the next one.